So for that, I would like to invite our two speakers, please, to the stage. We are honoured to have the World Bank country manager for Azerbaijan, that's Ms. Steffi Stammeister. Steffi, please step up to the stage. And we also have Ms. Yulia Bogdanovskaya, who is a principal from PCG. And I've omitted to introduce myself. My apologies. I'm Marlene Hare. I'm the curator for Baku Climate Action Week, and it is my honor to moderate this session today. I suggest that let me stay here. In the interest of time, we do have to conclude by 10:15. So I have asked for the cooperation of my speakers, please, to keep to time if you can. But I know that you have some prepared remarks that you wish to share with us. Please.
Thank you so much. The speakers before me made it very easy to keep on time because I mentioned already many of the points I wanted to raise. So thank you for the speeches we heard. Now, I think we all know about the impact climate change has on human development. We see the pictures on TV or even also in Azerbaijan of hurricanes, floods, droughts impacting humans and facing millions in the world and will continue to do so. But I think what is often not appreciated is the role human capital and human development can play in dealing with climate change and helping us to address the risk of climate change going forward. Now, you asked me what are the challenges in Azerbaijan and what we do. So let me highlight, let me focus on education and skills. Social protection, the minister mentioned already the great progress and programs already underway. Now, in Azerbaijan, the good news is that Azerbaijan was one of the top improvers in our human capital index between 2010 and 2020. So clearly there are huge improvements, but Azerbaijan is still lagging behind its regional peers and other countries they're striving to follow. And let me first focus on education. Education is universal in Azerbaijan, access. But I think the quality, basically 4 years of students are lost because of the quality of education. So clearly right now the education system is not really preparing the youth of this country to the new challenges that we will all face in order to manage the green transition successfully. So that is clearly one area where focus, like in other countries, will need to be made. Then of course, health is another issue where, like in other countries, non-communicable diseases are accounting for the majority of most of the healthy lives lost in this country. Again, Azerbaijan is not alone here, but we can all, I think, learn from each other how this can be tackled to make sure that we're using human capital we have most successfully. Now, another area where Azerbaijan may be lagging behind a bit certain countries is on the use of its full human capital. Disproportionately, women are in less productive jobs than men. And here the government has repealed the labor code in 2022 and opening 674 jobs or occupations which were reserved only for men to women. So this, of course, will allow Azerbaijan to use the potential of human capital to master the green transition. Now, behaviors change slow, so of course not all women will immediately go into these occupations, but we think that was a fantastic step Azerbaijan took to make that happen. Let me just focus on maybe skills development, which the minister mentioned as well. I think a green transition creates lots of potential for Azerbaijan to reskill its labor force. But Azerbaijan right now is in this low productivity, low skill cycle. So the jobs, there are not enough jobs in the non-oil sector, and therefore there is not that much demand for skills jobs. Therefore, there's an underutilization of the skills the country has, and therefore there's also a low return to education. If there's a low return to education, young people will not go to university because they're never going to get the money back they spent on the university. So I think that vicious cycle needs to be broken, and I'm confident that some of the initiatives we heard today will help to do that. And of course, we heard also on the reskilling I think that's an important area where we need to focus on in the country. Now, the World Bank is supporting the Ministry of Labor actually on this employment support program where the government is focusing on reskilling and upskilling the workers and creating jobs, including in greener jobs. And we're hoping that that will help to improve the human capital of Azerbaijan and to take full advantage of the green transition and the opportunities it offers for Azerbaijan and other countries. Thank you.
Very much. That's very comprehensive. That's excellent. Thank you very much, Debbie. And for keeping to time, I'm pleased that you brought out some of the gaps, and in particular on the gender differentials, but importantly also the advances, how that is being corrected. And as you note, I mean, there is this big gap. Historically, a country that was focused largely on the oil economy, and now moving into creating jobs in the non-oil sector. So, you know, immense challenges, and that's actually one of the things that we're going to be discussing in the next sessions. So I hope that collectively we'll be able to come up with some good ideas to take forward this transition, this human capital transition. But you provided the national context, and I'm going to come to you now, Julia, for the international context, because I know that BCG has produced an extremely good report benchmarking what's happening, how we understand human capital, so the terminology, and then what's happening in other parts of the world. So over to you for your presses of the reports and its findings.
Thank you, Malini. Oh, wow. Thank you, Malini. Happy to step in, and I'm very honored to be speaking with all of you today in such an important time for our planet and for our economies. I'm a BCGer, and I'm happy to add an analytical lens to the issue that we're discussing today, to the green skills gap. And I would like to highlight a few key messages from the recent report that Boston Consulting Group published on the green skills gap. And this report outlines quite a dangerous reality. By 2030, the world will face the shortage of 7 million workers. And these workers are mostly reside in three industries. It's solar energy, wind power, and biofuels production. And what's even most important, that this shortage might delay our destination or achievement of 1.5 global climate target, jeopardizing not only the environment, but also the economic activity that sustainable future promises. What are the root causes of this gap? And BCG outlines three major mismatches. First one is geographical mismatch, and we learned that the countries that will mostly demand green jobs are those that are the highest emitters. So such countries as the United States, China, and Germany cumulatively will face a shortage of more than 4 million workers out of 7 that I mentioned earlier. And at the same time, we know that the growing labor forces reside in those countries that are most vulnerable to climate changes. These are the countries from the global south. So this mismatch between demand and supply is the one jeopardizing the achievement of global climate targets. The second mismatch out of three is the skills mismatch. We know that 45% of jobs in conventional energy are highly skilled professionals, while in green economy it's only 12%. So what do we see is that in green economy we mostly demand such jobs as solar panel installation, wind turbine maintenance, biofuel corpse harvesting, which do not require such highly skilled professionals and are occupied in conventional energy. And the third mismatch is a time mismatch. Though there is a lot of ongoing investment in green economy, conventional energy is still in place and the workers are still there. But there is a hope. Yeah, knowing these mismatches, we do know how to address them. And BCG outlines two major strategies that very much echoes what Steffi highlighted already. The first strategy is upskilling and reskilling. Yeah, and here we have fantastic examples of UK, for example. UK established UK Skills Development Agency that helps transition for workers from fossil fuels to green economy. Another great example is India Skills Council for Green Jobs that helps people to gain green jobs and being demanded on the market. But upskilling and reskilling itself won't help us alone. As I mentioned, there are other mismatches. And the second energy that goes hand in hand with the second strategy that goes hand in hand with the first one is targeted skills migration. And here we also have best practices that Azerbaijan can adopt, is the program of bilateral skills partnership that Germany established with Nepal. So Nepal workers are trained within the unified framework, both for domestic and international market, and there is a migration pathway that Germany established for Nepal workers to travel conveniently to Germany. Another good example is, well, the US H-2B visa that allows temporary workers to come in for such green initiatives like reforestation. So as far as you can see, the green transition is as much about people as about investment and technology. But to be able to drive this technology, Azerbaijan needs to bring proper workforce in place. And what are the three levers that can be pulled for this is on the global level, I believe there is a huge space for international organizations like United Nations and World Bank to facilitate in this unified skills framework and to facilitate in these targeted migration programs. On the country level, there is a space for education initiatives, and green skills should be a part of the education agenda on the country level. And there is also a step that might be taken on the firms level. So firms need to learn how to hire, how to recruit internationally. For example, if BCG wouldn't be doing this, I would be sitting here talking to you. And of course, firms should be also including trainings and reskilling programs for their workers to transition from conventional to green.
Fantastic, thank you so much. I think you outlined very well what the mismatch is, as you said, but also what the strategies are for filling that gap. And it's very interesting because of the balance you have to strike between the support for domestic workers and recruiting and supporting domestic talent while at the same time addressing that can be quite controversial, the migration challenge. Yeah? So I would like to thank you both for those introductory remarks, which have really helped set the scene for us, because now we're going to dive into what this means for the oil and gas sector in particular. So if I would like to invite you to join.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.